Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old Lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yom the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Let's Play Dark Souls, where I play Dark Souls and show off the game, because this game is fucking awesome. This game is just incredible. So this is going to be my second time playing through the game. I decided to go with a strength build this time. I'm building for Warhammers. We're going to call ourselves Dadlinar. It's a parody of a character from a book by Brandon Sandersons. If you like fantasy novels, you should go check that out right now. I'm not going to worry about our appearance because we're going to be covered in armor the whole time, but I am going to make us the warrior because they start with the highest strength, and strength is the important stat if you want to use heavy weapons like Warhammers, which is exactly what I want to do. Burial Gift, you can choose like an item to start the game with. I'm going to start with the Sovereignless Soul. Basically, souls are experience in this series. And this is just going to start us with more experience than anyone else. So let's play. And as soon as you start the game, you rise out of your grave. This, I guess, was our coffin. And you're in the Cemetery of Ash. There's these messages on the ground. They are tutorials. I'm not going to be looking at them because I've played this before. But if it's your first time playing a game, it could benefit you. If you've played any other Souls games, controls are pretty similar. There's some random mooks here, not too threatening. They're going to serve mostly just to introduce us to the game with enemies that will not kill us in 2 hits. You can see a lot of the combat in the game is built around spacing. Best strategy is just to not get hit. So the items we have right now, you'll see, I have Soul of a Nameless Soldier. That's what I started with as the item I chose. We'll use that later for experience. I have an Estus Flask with 3 uses. That is a healing item. Every time I rest at a bonfire, that's going to go back up to 3 charges, and it's going to restore health when I use it. And I just picked up an Ashen Estus Flask, which will restore that blue bar under my health. I'm going to call it mana. It's called FP in the game, but I'm just going to call it mana. I could use it to cast spells, but this character is not going to be casting spells. What I use it for is you can use weapon skills like that, depending on what weapon you're using. The one for the weapon I have right now is Warcry, which boosts my attack for a little bit when I use it. Might use it on the boss, we'll see. I'm going to go around, clear out this area. If you attack enemies, some enemies, mostly human-sized enemies from behind, you do a backstab, which does a lot more damage, as you can see. Now there's this area off here to the right. There's a couple of these guys are going to stand up. Drops a Fading Soul. That's just going to give me a few souls, not many. You can see the soul count in the bottom right of my screen. Now this message here, it's left by the game developers telling me to turn back, and because I'm an idiot, I'm not going to listen to it. A thing a lot of these games like to do is they like to put an optional "you're not supposed to be able to kill this right now" enemy at the start of the game in the tutorial level. But I've played these games before, so 50-50 chance I can kill it without it killing me. You can see it over there. It's glowing. As soon as I run in, bad things are going to start happening. So I'm going to use that Warcry ability as soon as it gets up. See if I can do some extra damage to it. This time for those crystals to go away. Oh, got greedy. I think having a shield out is going to help me a little more. If you two-hand your weapon, you do increase damage. But sometimes just blocking an attack on the off chance that you mistime something like that is more helpful. So that's all of my Estus charges. So I need to start actually playing this game well, which I'm not doing right now. war cry again. There we go. That was pretty close. I don't have a lot of health to spare now. It's tough even if you know what you're doing. Soul of an Unknown Traveler. All of these soul items are going to... They're experience they're items I can use to get experience later. The reason that happens, why that's more useful than just giving you the experience, is when you die, you lose all your souls. Souls, also, by the way, they're not just experience, they are currency from the game's vendors. So, you can get them back, but if you die before you get them back, they're gone forever. So having them in the form of an item until I want to actually use them is safer. Curious. Okay, so right now I'm at 58% weight. The important... You see in the top right where it tells me my weight. It says 58.2%. If you are at 70 or higher percent of your weight ratio, you will roll a lot slower. And that is problematic because rolling is very important for dodging anything. Here we have our first bonfire. These are important. And we get an emote, the rest emote. Probably will never use that, but you never know. So now if we die, we will reappear here. That said, let's try not to die. I like not dying. It is nice that this weapon kind of lets us kill everything in one hit. At least all of these hollows in one hit. And even though I one-shot it without the backstab looks cool. So do that whenever you can. You win style points. So here we have two guys at once. It's... You know, they're not too strong, but the spearman's going to kind of block our way to the archer, who's going to pester us from a distance. So, it's a bit nasty, but a little counterplay, and problem solved. We get a Fading Soul and 5 firebombs, which I will equip. Firebombs are... You throw them, they explode. They're grenades. I as well equip my soul items, too, for when I want to use those. Also, I believe the boss of this area is weak to fire damage, so I might get some use out of them then. I'm hoping to, like, kill him as he enters the second phase. We can see an item up on that coffin there. We have to run and jump to get it, and this message tells you how to jump. We get a Titanite shard. Titanite is used to upgrade your weapons, and that will be important later. This area teaches you how to do a plunging attack. Again, we could have killed him in one shot just by landing and attacking, but plunging attacks are cool. And this game is all about being awesome. So, we see a statue there. This is our first boss. And it's gonna jump up and attack us as soon as we pull the sword out of its chest. The coiled sword. Also see that weird slime. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit so that you guys can enjoy the fight, and hopefully I'll kill him and not embarrass myself. There we go. And you saw, I don't actually think he was weak to fire. That firebomb only did 76 damage. But a lot of the enemies, he's not the only enemy who's going to have that hideous growth out of his head. You saw it earlier as that weird inky thing, and then it sort of exploded into some metaphysical parasitic monster. When he falls down to transform like that, he does take critical damage from your attacks, so you can bring him down to really low health while he is transforming. I haven't been able to kill him before the transformation yet, but it is... You can get a lot done during that time. And that'll make the duration of the second phase a lot easier, because he does become a lot harder to hit once you do that. The parasite thing has some really nasty range. If you can get him pretty low, firebombs still, they're kind of safe. You can keep your distance. So we got our next bonfire just at this boss room, and we picked up a coiled sword, which is going to become important. We still appear to be in a graveyard. At the top, there's a building with a bell tower. Looks like there's a sun, but it's hidden behind clouds. Get a broken straight sword. It's the weapon you start the first Dark Souls game with. I don't recommend using it. It's not very good. I would much rather be using this battle axe. And there's a couple more hollows down here. We can kill the one before he gets up. First time I went through here, I was convinced that something was going to jump out of these coffins and attack me as I went by. FromSoft, the developers of this game, love to do that sort of thing. We've got some hollows here. Let's, again, deal with them before they can fight back. And then another spearman-archer duo. This time, though, the archer is in front, so you can kind of rush them down a lot more. This just leads to a death. Don't go that way. So if we go around this side, we're going to first see, just behind us there, some hollows, so let's not let them get the drop on us. Catch them sleeping, if you will. Here we have an ember. You saw... First of all, you'll probably notice I'm burning right now. I've been burning for a little bit, and that may have been concerning some people. When you kill a boss, like I did, you get this effect on you, and it's actually very useful. It increases your maximum health by 30%. The Ember I just picked up, those items are another way to do that. If you haven't killed a boss, you can use the Ember to enter this burning state where you have extra bonus life. It also lets you interact online with players. If you are not embered up, you cannot you cannot summon other players into your world to help you. So here's another very difficult fight. He's the Swordmaster, and you see him standing up there. It's hard to see from this distance, but I don't want to run in until... As soon as I get any closer, he's going to aggro me. And he's going to give a lot of players some trouble. He is nasty. He seems to be able to just attack through your hits. But there's an easy way to kill him, and I'm going to show that off. So if you're having trouble with this guy, this is the way to do it. $2,000 souls, easily done. He will absolutely attack you just off the cliff. Just stand on this edge, this corner right here. Some attacks he has will hit you, so don't stand right on the edge because it'll knock you off as well. Stand like where your back is kind of, you have some space to get knocked. He does drop items, which are now off the cliff, but as soon as I reload the area, they will appear up here. You could just quit out of the game and go back in. I will just pick them up next time we are back in this area. And didn't see this coming up here, but on your way back, it sort of becomes obvious. This item on a corpse in a tree. East-west shield. Let's compare that to what I have right now, actually. So right now I'm using the round shield, which there's a lot of numbers on this screen. You'll get used to them. The important ones for a shield are under where it says guard absorption. There's all the different types of damage, and that's how the percentage of damage blocking an attack with that shield prevents. And then the stability is basically how easy it is to knock you off balance with that shield. When you block an attack, you know, for this, if I block a physical attack, I only take 14% of the original damage of the attack, and I lose some amount of stamina depending on how strong the attack was. And if I, you know, stamina is the green bar, you can see it goes down when I attack, or when I roll, or when I do a lot of things. And the amount of stamina I lose is proportional to how strong the attack was that I block. So if I run out of stamina, I'm thrown off balance, and a lot of enemies will be able to get a free attack on me. It's not good. The other stat you see with guard absorption, though, is stability. And what that does is the higher the stability on your shield is, the less stamina you lose. So the shield I picked up, East-West shield, you see has lower stability, 6 less stability than the one I have right now. It's a lot worse at blocking physical attacks, but elemental stuff it does pretty well against. I'm probably never going to use it. I tend to like my shields to block physical damage, as it is what most of the enemies in the game do. Even enemies that do other elements tend to also do physical damage. I'm going to get in behind here and pillage some remains. There's another Ember. And we see a dog facing away from us. I wonder if I can sneak up on it. Yes, I can. Oh, it takes 2 hits. Damn. Get gone. And if you've played Dark Souls 1, and you haven't played this yet, and you don't know what this place is, you're about to get really emotional. Does not look much like our Firelink Shrine from the first game, which was open to the sky, among other things. You can see an item up there, hinting that there's some way to get up there. We also don't see a bonfire. We see a fire pit, but no bonfire. So I'm going to go talk to our NPCs. People who have shown up here.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And it'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think?
No, I don't really think. I have a higher estimation of my abilities than that, but if you want to be a downer, don't let me get in your way. So we see some thrones here, speaking of. And we heard these names in the opening. Yorm the Giant. The Watchers of the Abyss. This one has something a little different on it. We didn't hear this guy's name, but Holy King Lothric, last hope of his line. He's apparently the king. Ludleth the Exiled, and hey, he is in his throne. I guess that's why we didn't hear his name. He did not abandon the throne.
All that unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver. No need to be coy. Have a closer look. Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast-fading flame must be licked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. Now, do not be away over long.
So, we get a little bit of the story of the game here, which is going to sound familiar if you played the first Dark Souls. The fire that holds the world together is dying, and we need to feed it kindling in the form of powerful souls. And we need 5 of them, and 4 of them have abandoned their thrones. They've forsaken this duty. They don't want to burn themselves up to preserve the world. And the last one, you get to hear Saint Aldrich of the Deep.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one.
What bonfire?
I'm a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee.
You're not doing a very good job. There's no flame.
The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
So, the Firekeeper here is the person you can talk to in the game to level up. We will do that momentarily.
Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels.
Okay, and she sort of is just telling you, hey, get souls, I'll make you stronger. Actually, I feel like she has another dialogue for us.
Ashen, produce the coiled sword at the bonfire. The mark of ash will guide thee to the land of the lords. To Lothric, where the homes of the lords converge.
So she's the one who tells us, go to the bonfire, use the coiled sword.
Guide thee.
And this is where the bonfire should be. So let's use the coiled sword. That's better. That's more like it. So we've got a couple more people to go talk to. By the way, you also see, if you've been wondering about these bloodstains, there where other players have died, you can touch them to see how the other players died. I'm not actually sure what happened to these people. They maybe pissed off the Firekeeper?
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
She's a shopkeeper. You can buy and sell items here. And souls are the currency. She has embers. Those are pretty useful. Some spells. I already know the item I want for the end of the game, and it's not one of the ones here. Although, I might want some of these arrows. She doesn't have many. Oh no, okay, she has an unlimited number. I may go back here and pick these up, buy some arrows a little later.
Ashen One, if my wares are not to thy satisfaction, bring me umbral ash. With ash, I'll fashion new wares. Is it not our sorry fate to sup on death?
Actually, I think if I get arrows now, I'll probably save myself time down the road. Both arrows are fired out of bows, and bolts are fired out of crossbows. I'm gonna get a healthy supply of each because they're pretty cheap. These are the least powerful type of arrow and bolt. Just wooden. They don't do much damage, but they're something. They will, as soon as we get a bow or crossbow, give us a ranged attack. This guy you might recognize. He is a recurring character from Dark Souls 1. Andre the Blacksmith. All around, good dude.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust? A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
So he can do a lot of things here. The talk dialogues will just tell you about the various things he can do. We'll skip them because I will explain it more succinctly. He can, if we bring him an Estus shard, give our Estus flask more charges. Most importantly, right now, he can allot Estus. So, you know, we have the Ashen Estus flask, and then we have the normal one, depending on if we want to restore health or mana. As not a caster character, I will want to restore health a whole lot more than mana. So I'm going to be putting probably every Estus charge I get into the health flask. Repair equipment, probably through the course of the game your equipment will never break, but you can do that here if it does. We can reinforce our weapon. We need Titanite to do that, and we have one shard, but we need a second. We'll probably, when we get a second shard, upgrade the battle axe. And we can also infuse weapons, which changes their properties a bit, but we need a gem to do that, and we don't have any. The usual infusion I would use on any weapon that can hold one is the refined gem. What it does, it decreases the base damage of the weapon, but increases how well it scales with your stats. So right now it wouldn't net us any extra damage. Our damage would just stay the same with the battle axe if we could do it. But as we go through the game, it will get better and better as our stats get higher and higher.
I don't want to see my work squandered.
So now we can level up. Let's use all those souls we've been hoarding. 2,000 souls from the starting item. Everything else is going to give me kind of less. Fading souls only give you 50, but they are something. And yep, that's all my souls. So, Firekeeper.
Ashen One.
I wish to level up.
Produce the coiled sword at the bonfire.
I did that, lady.
The mark of ash will guide thee to the land of the Lords, to Lothric, where the homes of the Lords converge. Very well. Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Okay, I can do that. All our stats here, it will light up what attributes they increase. Vigor increases health. Attunement increases our mana. Endurance increases our stamina. Vitality increases our equip load and sort of all our defenses. More useful than you would think, honestly, because being able to normal roll with heavier armor is pretty nice. Strength is a very important stat for us, because we are going with a strength build. It increases the damage of the types of weapons we'll be using. Dexterity also increases the damage of our current weapon. But I am going to need a lot of strength, so how much can I get? 26? That's a pretty big boost in damage. Let's go to 25 and get 1 vigor, just for a little bit more health.
Farewell, Ashmay the Flint.
On your first playthrough, it might better serve you to increase health more in proportion with your damage stats, instead of doing what I'm doing and getting a ton of damage and not that much health. Once you've played through the game once, you tend to get hit a lot less. And so, for me, it's more optimal to just end the fights faster so I don't have to dodge as much. But for you, if you've never played the game before, it might help you a whole lot more to get health so that you don't have to play dodging every single thing or blocking attacks. You kind of have a margin of error there. So we can see here, if we rest at the bonfire, we are able to teleport between bonfires, and usually you can only go to the ones you've been to, the ones we got here. But this one time, we can go to the High Wall of Lothric, which is where that coiled sword we stuck in the bonfire will take us. That's where we have to go to continue the game, and we will do that next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been episode 1 of Let's Play Dark Souls. Catch you later.